Welcome back to A Moment in History. I'm Seth Udinsky. On July 15, 1099, one of the most influential battles of the Middle Ages took place in the city of Jerusalem. This battle would signify the beginning of the 200-year war between Christians and Muslims for the Holy Land, known as the Crusades. In this first crusade, a Christian army of roughly 15,000 knights descended upon the Muslim-controlled Jerusalem and laid siege on it. Let's go back to the First Crusade and explore the Christian siege of Jerusalem in the summer of 1099. To understand how this crusade, and really the entirety of the Crusades, came about, we have to look quickly at the powers at play. In the 11th century AD, Jerusalem was in Muslim hands and had been so for the previous several hundred years. During this time, Byzantine Emperor Alexios I became increasingly disturbed with the growing Muslim contingent infringing on his territory in Eastern Europe. In an attempt to stem this threat, Alexios sent a plea from Constantinople to Pope Urban II in Rome, asking for aid from his Western Christian brothers. The Pope responded with his famous call to the First Crusade, where he claimed it was God's will that the Latin Christians would come to the aid of the Greek Christians and recapture the Holy City itself. And he also promised a guarantee of salvation for all Christians who would take up the crusading cause. Now, this was as much a political maneuver as it was any kind of gesture of goodwill or religious piety, as the Pope was also no doubt seeking an opportunity to strengthen the power of the Western Church, especially on the heels of the East-West schism that had just taken place in 1054. Thousands of Christian knights and foot soldiers responded to the call and made the 3,000-mile march across Europe to the Holy Land over the next several years. Now, in the summer of 1099, the Christian army reached the city of Jerusalem and laid siege on it. The siege lasted about a week, and on July 15th, the Christians broke through the walls of the city. Now, in one of the darker moments of the Crusades, the Christian soldiers abandoned civility and slaughtered scores of Jerusalem residents. Their main enemy was the Muslim defenders, but they killed more than just the resident Muslims. They slaughtered Jews and even fellow Christians standing in their way. Well, regardless of the illicit motives or the sinister outcome for the residents of Jerusalem, the Christians succeeded in their goal. They captured Jerusalem and established the Christian Kingdom of Jerusalem, which would survive the duration of the Crusades until the fall of Acre in 1291. The Christians would, of course, lose Jerusalem itself to Saladin's Muslim forces in 1187. Thanks so much for joining me once again for A Moment in History.